Alright, so I'll start off by telling you that this did start off as its own individual quote-unquote planter box. It was originally made from dug up old railway ties in a basic shape of an L almost. But because the person that it belonged to wanted to do a little bit more with it, we decided on this. So we're going to take the pre-existing shape and add 2x6s all around it, as well as 4x4s to keep each corner stabilized, and then over top of that add a little bit more design wise, which we'll figure out along the way. But essentially this is where we're at. Okay, so you're putting it here, or how are you putting this on? Let's see. The railway ties were already set into the ground, so all of the 2x6s that we're putting into this or putting onto this are going to be screwed directly into those spaces. Therefore, the stability is already there, so if you plan on doing something relatively the same, just make sure that you're using a lot more stability than we have. Hair is in my way. This is why I put my hair up at work.
Tug on it, that bite? Yeah, grab.
Oh yeah. Design wise, we already knew that we were going to be taking thinner pieces of wood to go about every 4 to 5 feet or so. So we were able to secure them further along the way, about 4 to 5 feet apart, because we knew they were going to get covered anyways. This is a big portion of the reason why I don't drink caffeine at work. Get a little true happy. Not too bad. Not too shabby. Whew. The first one was built and put directly onto the railway ties, and then we added the second one on top. We'll secured it into the railway ties and into the first one that we built. Four by four? Also, a helpful little fun fact, if you have a 4x4 or a bigger chunk of wood that you want to cut down, but you only have maybe some at-home saws like I do, which, let's be honest, is a little bit more realistic for the average person. Use it on each side and just make sure you're following the same line and just keep flipping and flipping and flipping it. Eventually it will snap off of itself. Or you can use brute strength, which, you know, not always the best idea, but hiya. Really?
Hiya!
Oh, hey, let's try not to die today. Are you happy with the result?
Yeah, it looks like a flower box now.
Although the original planter did end here, it was a plan to make it go a little bit further. So again, we cut down another 2x6 and just continued on all the original steps that we had done. So I'm guessing, do we want to put in more than one? Or will the other one keep stable enough for your liking?
We're not playing on it, so it doesn't need to really...
Okay. As this more new outer portion did not have the railway ties that the original portion did, we ended up actually using the soil from underneath to kind of push it up against it. as well as an extra piece of wood that was on hand to further stabilize it because it didn't have that original added stability. As stated, we did want to use a design element to it, which are going to be these center pieces of wood. But because they are quite a bit thinner, we wanted to pre-drill first so that there was no chance of them breaking or cracking as we put these screws into them. As you are just about to watch me screw in a bunch of screws, I will take this time to also note, if you do plan on having this outside, especially if it's going to be pressure treated wood, you are going to want to add some sort of weather treatment to the inside where the dirt and soil is going to be touching the wood. You can use either a plastic bag, you can use specific weatherproofing sprays, sealants, etc., but you do want to use something to make it just so that the elements do not get too much into your wood, especially, like I said, if it is pressure or heat treated. You want me to get it? Oh, you got it.
There you go.
If you're a little bit more of a tool beginner as I am, then I'm going to share with you another little fun fact. If you're making two pieces of wood connect at a 45-degree angle to make a 90-degree angle, use the first piece of wood, put it on top and find where the two pieces are going to overlap and place a line right there. Take anything that's long and straight, rather that be another piece of wood or even a ruler, and connect that line that you just made to the corner and then cut those off. This is going to give you the perfect angle to join them at. Just do that to both of them. If you need the perfect line in between, you can just put one on top of the other and trace it out, and you got yourself a perfect, pretty much perfect angle. Good enough. It's not good, but it's good enough.
Sure.
No, underneath, yeah. As for getting started with planting, well, plants or, anything along the line of greenery, another little fun fact or helpful pointer of the day is to use either a mixture of annual and perennial. An annual is something that would pop up once a year versus perennial is something that comes back and back and back every single year, or every other year, but mainly every single year. Or just strictly perennials. That's going to be more indigenous plants. So definitely research what indigenous plants are in your area. See if you can get some seeds from maybe the dollar store or neighbor, or maybe sneak alongside a trail and dig up some. Just make sure you are very, very nice to them. Make sure they have the proper soil and whatnot to get started. Some plants may be a little bit upset that they've been taken from their original areas. Being upset, they may take a year just to get situated. How fitting. Are you trying this? The song about digging a hole?
No, actually I didn't even think about that. I really didn't even honestly think of that.
That's funny. Because you will be pulling the roots up from their original state. Just be aware it may take about a year for everything to get back to normal. I've even heard of libraries having what is called a plant library, which basically just means that you go into the library and you grab some seeds from them, you plant them, and then once those have grown and flourished, you take the seeds out of your plants and put them back in and continue them back to the library for somebody else. Perennials are generally meant for people who can handle the long game versus annuals being a little bit of a shorter game, but also they thrive a little bit better. Which is why I recommend both, because one of them you can obviously have year round or every year, and then the other one you get instant gratification. Also, a little gardening tip is that if your soil isn't the absolute best, you can go in with some eggshells to add some more calcium to the soil, and it'll help your plants grow. Be sure to plant them a handful of inches down, not too much near the top, and then create somewhat of a moat around them so that they're able to soak up as much water as they need, but they won't be overcompensated. And also definitely don't forget to water your local dog as well. The confusion on his face. Oh. But that is it, and I hope you guys do enjoy. I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.